No? Good. Move on. We'll close public hearing number 1. Public hearing number 2, application to Wyoming Business Council for business grant, committed project grant. Involves a grant application to the Wyoming Business Council for a business committed project for McGinley Orthopedic Innovations. Ask the representatives to approach the podium and explain the project, please.
Thank you, council members, members of Glen Rock Town. Really appreciate the opportunity to come up and speak on behalf of this project, and would ask for your support for this resolution for the project. As many of you are aware, we had a previous grant with the Business Council several years ago, which helped us expand the facility, just down the road here in Glen Rock. With that grant, we successfully committed all of our requirements of that grant. We expanded the facility, brought in new high-skilled employees to that location, and expanded our certifications to now include not only FDA registration, but aerospace manufacturing. So that location just down the street here has some of the most technologically advanced equipment in the state of Wyoming, and some of the highest registrations in the country as far as manufacturing. What we're proposing with this additional grant is to continue that expansion on that same footprint, on that same location, and essentially capitalize on some of those certifications and bring in additional manufacturing here to Wyoming. As everyone's aware, there's problems with this around the country with export of jobs, export of manufacturing. We want to bring it back in. We're saying we have the people to do it right here in Glen Rock. We have the people to do it in Wyoming, and we'd like the opportunity to continue in that facility. So the proposal is to essentially add another building on that same property footprint, and inside that facility bring in additional high-end computerized machining equipment to be able to further bring in the aerospace projects to that location. Again, we'd appreciate your support, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions from council members or anyone else.
Now, I visited your plant last week because I had no idea it was out there. It was so impressive. The things that you are making out there, your equipment that you are making them with. But the one thing that impressed me the very most about that visit was my guide said, we have the potential to have a child graduate from Glen Rock High School and step right into a job right here in their community. And I thought that was a fabulous statement.
Well, I appreciate that, and I've got to give a lot of credit to the team behind us here, Ben and Jolene Warren and Travis. They're the ones that make that happen. I mean, my name's on the building, but these are the ones that are making that the facility that it is. And I'm glad you brought up the educational piece. We have tours all the time. We partner with Casper College and their machining program, even talking about what's the next steps in manufacturing, what's needed to take us to that next level of manufacturing here in Wyoming. And those students and interns will come down and rotate down through our facility. And we work with Department of Workforce Services for training, for cross-job training, for people midway through life that are changing careers. So we work with them as well to help advance that type of workmanship here in Wyoming. So thank you.
The second thing that I found amazing out there was I did not realize that you had two kinds of things going out there. You're making wear parts for underground mine systems, and you're making these delicate medical things. And those little bone plates, everyone needs to go out and try one of those on their bone. They are so interesting.
Well, yeah, the size capability, that's a great point. I mean, we have large hard rock mining parts that are getting shipped all over the country, even up into Alaska. And then on the other side, you're absolutely right. We have small precision micro parts that require robotics to verify the accuracy of those parts being made. Those plates are being used all across the country, hospitals all across the country right now as we speak. Our first plate was used at Shriners Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, and 100% made right here in Glen Rock.
Every golfer in the nation wants to know that they can get their wrist fixed. If they need a quick fix, you got
You don't want it done, but if you need it done, we'll help you out.
So,
yes, right.
so you want to expand your building, so are we looking for potential jobs for local people? And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point is we don't want to have to, go somewhere else or expand elsewhere. I mean, we want to create the jobs locally, both on the construction, on the supplies for the building, and just historically, you see that relationship with the town, and then jobs, bringing in jobs into the community at the facility as well. So, yeah, it affects everything from the construction to the supplies that we use on a regular basis to the cleaning crews. So it's not just the direct jobs that we hire, it's all the secondary business, and then, the spending that occurs in Glen Rock with that as well.
Anyone that hasn't seen there needs to go out and have a tour. It is a fascinating place. The process is just, these little machines making these little tiny things with all that precision. It's really an awesome experience just to see it.
Yeah, if you do go, allow yourself more time, because you're just going to get. I mean, when I go down there to just watch the machines, and I just keep staring at them. It's really cool to do that. And again, the other cool part of that, besides the machines, if you look up top, it's the old roller skating rink, and all of the old cartoon paintings are still around the top side of that building. So we didn't cover those up or anything else. It really adds to the character of that building. It's very unassuming. It's the old roller skating rink, and then inside, it's the floor you can probably eat off of it, so clean. And then it's a high-end machining facility.
The only thing that I was sorry I didn't take my husband, because he would have been fascinated, but I was glad I didn't take him, because I'd probably still be out there trying to get him out of the building, because he'd still be looking at the equipment.
That's true, yes. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Is there any public input or questions? All right. We'll close public hearing number 2 and open up the council meeting. Will you please stand for the pledge? All right. Are there any additions or deletions? No.
No.
If not, we will move on to approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from?
I move we approve the minutes of the July 25th meeting.
Okay, motion, second,
I'll second that.
and seconded. Any discussion? Not. Call for a vote. All those in favor? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, moving on. Reports, thank you. Councilman Bonds.
I have nothing.
Mr. Kincaid.
No, surprisingly, I have nothing this week. I've been on vacation, so I'm sure Margaret will take care of us.
Sure.
Wasn't Hogfest last week?
No, I was already on vacation.
Oh, okay.
Didn't make it to Hogfest.
Okay, are you ready?
Councilwoman Nunn, yeah.
All right. First, the candidate forum that was put on by the American Legion. I would like to thank that organization for sponsoring this forum. As a result of participation in this forum, I was afterwards made aware of some safety concerns for senior citizens to attend such an event at Town Square. So going forth from forum, let's talk about senior citizens and the safety concerns down at Town Square. Several senior citizens told me that they would like to have attended this affair down at the Town Square, but they did not because they were concerned they would not have appropriate seating. Access to the area in front of the stage for seniors is limited, is not convenient, as they must walk completely around the top area of the square to get access to the ramp, and then they basically have only access to the lower level. The steps on the second and third level are too steep and unsafe for them to go up and down without an in-between step and a handrail for balance and safety. Perhaps we should address this issue of safety as well as the safety issue of a complete rail system around the top of this arena with numerous access points with an additional step down and a handrail for safe access. Until you become a more senior citizen, you do not appreciate that a step this tall is an awesome thing to climb up, and if you climb up it, it's even more awesome trying to get down back off it safely. It just seems like you hop up and down those things, but you don't, trust me. Another, you're getting there, Roy?
Yeah. I know that I addressed that a little bit with Randy, that we needed to add some steps or design some steps to coming off the main floor,
That
back
needs
down
to,
into the levels.
needs to be safe for our senior citizens so they feel they can go down there and not have to worry about falling or tripping off the edge of the top platform and cracking their head when they hit the cement. Another 2 questions concerning the use of this facility. What happened to the plan to make the concession area into a facility where other than wrapped and sealed type foods can be available? I thought this was basically an issue of sinks and that it was going to be resolved. Ice skating at a park in the winter without access to anything hot to eat or drink sounds like real fun. I have heard some concern that offering such a service would be in competition with other businesses offering similar services. May I refer to you a quote from the book, 13 Ways to Kill Your Community. This is an excellent book, and if you haven't read it, there are some really, really good thoughts in there. On Chapter 2, where it discusses don't attract businesses. To drive business out of your community, to cause business to go broke and fail, you must ensure they have no competition within the community. Competition is very healthy for a community to grow. And if we're afraid of competing with businesses, we're hurting not only our own opportunities, but the opportunities of business. Pick it up and read it. You'll learn a lot about what we can do to kill Glen Rock really fast. Another thing.
We have something planned, though, Mandy, for that kind of concession? Wendy?
So, yes, we're working on the C, and so we need to finish up those plans. The health inspector has been out and inspected and showed us a way to get that fixed for us. And then, rather open to do hot dogs and hamburgers.
Okay, second area of concern down there. What is the plan for the ice arena? How are skaters going to get from rental to ice? Are we developing another area where safety becomes an issue? Please share with the council some information about this exciting phase of this project so we can better answer concerns from the community. Grandma wants to go down there. She wants to be safe and feel safe when she's there. And there's no reason why she shouldn't. Okay. The Abate Summer Hub Festival. Thanks again to Sharon Kemp for making the effort to extend invitations for the town council to attend. I had never been to one before. I found it was quite interesting. The drop-in by Dana Bowman was absolutely beautiful to watch. Such an inspiring person. The presentation of the sky from that huge American flag was very special to witness. And finally, the McGinley Project. It is fabulous. I think we are blessed in the community to have this project wanting to come in and to work with us and to help us move forward into a more positive future.
Nice job.
Done?
You good?
Good.
Thank you. Tammy Clerk?
The only thing I had was that I wanted to remind you that we, at some point a couple months ago, were having monthly work sessions that kind of got lost in the shuffle. I'm not sure what happened, but we need to try
I think
to
we
schedule-
completed the handbook and
Yeah, we,
Well, kind of. Yeah. We're
I
still.
know, we only missed 1 month.
we
Did
didn't
we just-
complete it, but we had a rough
Yeah.
draft.
So there's quite a bit of things that we have to work on,
okay.
and so we
can set a date
It's
if
okay
you want.
with you guys. We can.
It was the first Monday of the month, wasn't it,
Was
usually?
it the first Monday? I think it was. Wasn't it? Do you remember?
Is it
Yes.
a date?
I'm sorry?
Is it a date?
Sure.
Okay.
First Monday.
Monday in September.
Okay.
What time?
Actually, is that a holiday?
That's Labor Day, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So we'll have to do it.
First Monday in October.
Or do the Monday between council meetings?
Yeah, maybe we could try that. Because I
About the
think it might
second
be
one?
too far to push out.
Third Monday.
Third Monday.
Third Monday.
Okay, let's try that.
Okay. Cool.
At what time?
That's great.
6?
You want to go early?
Are we doing 6?
Yeah, we're doing 6 upstairs. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
that'll be the 19th. Thank you.
Yeah. Lyle, building inspector.
Evening, Council. 87 building permits issued to date, a lot of inspections. Compliance is still going on. We've had a lot of people clean up their yards, so had a few of them that were pretty tough to track down, and they got cleaned up last week, so that was good. Still got a little more to go, so we'll be working on that. We got the Black Mountain software for compliance, working on data entry. Got a little bit ways to go to make that functional before we get that going. And then if you see anybody at the town square replacing any of the light fixtures, all the light fixtures, the hanging ones off the building or the horizontal ones, they didn't have a UL sticker on them. So we're swapping them out with ones that do. So it's going to be a process. We'll swap in, send the old ones back, get a new batch. So it's going to take us a while to get that done.
That inspection you guys had, was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That all went good?
Yeah, all the pole lights got UL certified, so that all went away, but while the inspectors were standing around waiting, they noticed that the other lights didn't have a sticker. So
Okay.
don't ever keep an inspector in one place.
What about the 2 lights in the parking lot? Are those the poles?
3.
Oh, there's 3?
I'm waiting for one more bid.
Oh,
I only have one quote right now.
Oh, okay.
And I reminded them to get it to me, or I'm going to award it to that company.
All right.
So,
That's all I got.
Lyle, you have done a splendid job of cleaning up some badly needed cleaning up areas.
Yep.
Whoever you have working for you as a crew has done a really good job of going into some of these really bad messes and making them look really good.
Yeah, the two that are doing it right now, they've done a great job.
Yes, they have. They look really nice.
Randy, Public Works.
good evening, Mayor and Council, or Pro Temp, however you prefer me to say that. Crew's been busy with 2 water leaks. One of them was on South 5th Street up by Jay Roberson's, and we had to replace the line all the way over to his meter pit. It was galvanized pipe, which I don't know why they ever did that. And the other one was on South 8th Street right across from the shop. But we had a beam break about 3 to 6 inches long, and they had to patch that up. And garbage collection, parks mowing, street sweeping. We've been mowing some weeds and spraying the weeds, and new lagoon covers are all installed and working very well. And we finally got one of our service trucks from a year and a half ago that have been bid out. The next one's supposed to be here about Friday, they're guessing. So we got that. To answer Councilman Nunn's question about the safety, I don't know exactly what you're looking at for the skate, but around the skate rink is 4-foot walls all around. I had only 3 doors put in, so they could only enter from 3 sides, not the 4th side, and then there'd be rubber mats all around it, so they can sit on that wall there and put their skates on and then enter without.
Can you bring that plan in so we can look at it, see what it is?
Yeah, I think I got a drawing on it.
I hope so.
I think you're going to do a little rubber walk too. for
There's a rubber
concession.
walk all around
Yeah.
the rink, yes, so they don't damage the skates.
And slip.
Yeah.
Is there going to be, like you said, one to the concession to area, a rubber walkway too, or?
That was
I
my.
don't. We haven't even decided where we're going to the skates at.
All right, fair
We're
enough.
hurting for room, so
Yeah.
Now, are you
We'll
going to
figure all
put
that.
padding on those seats on the cement around there?
Yes.
Isn't that,
no. That's just on the ground so they can walk from the seating to the arena without damaging the skates.
oh, okay. I thought there was some concern about the cement ledge when we walked
So
through it
I
that
haven't
one
heard
I
time.
think with the 4-foot rubber walkway,
Uh-huh.
they won't be
Oh, I see.
sliding into
Yeah.
where the
Okay.
seating's at.
I got it now.
You got a place for Grandma to sit down there?
On the seat wall.
Andy.
Good evening, Council. So this Wednesday, the 10th, we're going to do movie night at the Square. It's going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and that's going to start at 6:30. Friday night is going to be Bryn Hill, and that's going to start at 6 with Peyton opening for Bryn. Super excited about Bryn coming in. He's an American Western music singer-songwriter from Utah. He was, in 2004, he was the Academy of Western Artists Male Vocalist of the Year. So it's exciting to have him. The 10th, we're going to go into the Enterprise Board. Just wanted to let you guys know that the ACT Workforce Ready Community was funded again for 2023. And I know Hannah is working with us to do some classes and stuff up here in Glen Rock. So we'll continue working with Hannah through that project to offer some training here in Glen Rock. The Fair Board meeting is this Thursday. Last meeting we elected officers, and I was elected as the secretary for 2023. But also my term is up for the Fair Board too. So just wanted to get your guys' input to see if we want to continue on the Converse County Fair Board. And also on the 16th, I'll be over at the Rec Center as a registration judge. On the 18th, I'll be speaking over at the Higgins at lunchtime to the Rocky Mountain Veterans Group about the town square and how that came about and what we're doing. On the 19th, we have Chad Lore coming back to sing for us. And then we're doing another movie night on August 24th for Sing 2. The Tourism Board will be here on the 23rd at 5 o'clock for their regular board meeting. And we also picked up the donated bikes today. And I'm working with Public Works in April to get those set up over at the square. I don't know if we'll do like 2 on one side over there by the bike path entrance and then 3 on one side, or if we'll put all 5 bikes together. But again, that's a program where anybody that wants to use those bikes will download the app, and then they'll use their credit card to pay for the bike, and then they're able to use the bike. Ours is a little bit different because the bikes have to be returned to that location. Otherwise, they'll keep getting charged for it,
How long do they have them for?
as long as they want to rent them.
Okay.
But
I mean-
but they would want to only rent it for, a few hours. I think otherwise it gets kind of expensive if you start going into the 24 hours.
Okay, I didn't know if there was a time they have to be back by. Or
No. But like the app, so it'll
just put in
track
your
them. It'll
time.
tell me, it'll even tell me when they have flat tires or they need some maintenance. So this will be fun. And then also, it has been brought to my attention about the seniors not feeling safe at the square. I know, we built the square up to code, but as we've been open for 60 days, we know that we need to make some changes, and we appreciate the input and have heard many great ideas to make some improvements. So we'll be working on getting bids and looking for grants to make the needed upgrades to make everyone feel safe at the square.
It's all part of growing. It's all part of.
Right. Yes.
Do you have signs up down there now? With rules and dogs and smoking and all
So
that
we
kind of
do
stuff?
have signs. We do need to add some no smoking signs. Also, we need to add some play at your risk signs. And I did talk to April today, and she and Randy and her are working on signs, and those, the no alcohol beyond this point signs are coming. Also, April and I discussed today, we need to add some stickers to that rail up on the balcony that says, do not lean on the rail. So April was working on those today, and then play at your own risk signs, getting about 4 of those for the building to locate those on the buildings.
What's your rental for the balcony area up there? Are you pretty well booked up right now?
It is getting really busy. In fact, we're actually starting to see more and more groups use it during the week. The high school Senate group just reached out to rent it this week, so that's exciting that the high schoolers are getting involved and wanting to use the meeting room.
That's $25 to rent that?
It's $25. Yep. Unless it's a community group, and we're not charging community groups at this time.
Schools?
Schools, 4-H.
Good.
Yep. We want to encourage them to use our facility. I think it's a great asset to our community.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Chief of Police, Coulter.
Evening. Talked a little bit about Hogfest. Hogfest went off without a hitch, I would say. We only had 2 calls out there all weekend, so I call that a success in my line of work. I also got to attend the flying in Yeah, that ceremony was pretty neat. It is every year. As Councilwoman Nunn said, anybody who hasn't attended, I would suggest doing that in the future. It is a pretty cool thing to take in. I handed each of you a copy of the MOU that we have. We're hoping to get that signed with the Douglas Police Department. Obviously, I don't expect anybody to read that tonight, but if anybody wanted to look over it and offer anything, it has been looked at by our attorneys as well as their attorneys and signed off by both for us to go ahead and go forward with the signatures at one point, but I wanted to make sure we got you guys' input as well. Lastly, wanted to touch base. Councilwoman Nunn a few weeks ago had asked me about school safety, what we had in place. Due to some illnesses, I've been unable to really put together a presentation along with the superintendent, but I did want to give you just a few things that we have done recently. I've gone through with the superintendent recently and done an assessment on all of the school doors. Those guys are purchasing locking systems for every door in addition to the obvious regular locks that are already on those doors for classrooms, as well as other doors throughout the facilities. Also, we've looked at some evacuation kits. I've made suggestions to them on things that they could purchase to help those second-story classrooms in the event of a situation such as that. For many years now, I've taught the ALICE program. That is what we stand behind. Councilman Kincaid, sorry, sir, could vouch for that. He's attended a couple of those. And that's just an acronym. Anyone can look that up online and see what that system is. Anyone is also welcome to come and talk to me about it. I'd be glad to show you the same plan that I teach them. There's no secrets in it or anything like that. Obviously, law enforcement response-wise, those are tactics I don't tend to hand out very much of. But we do work very closely with the staff. We're constantly evolving with new things, constantly going in and looking for new ways to just upgrade the security and make sure that our kids are safe. A couple years ago, I made suggestions to them, and they actually made the switch to a new security system, cameras-wise. We identified a lot of blind spots, and were able to get those taken care of, as well as building security and locking all the doors on the outside during the day. You now have to be buzzed in at one singular entry point, which is pretty nice, and it's worked pretty well so far.
Yeah, the camera system for the whole district is amazing, you guys.
Yeah, it is super awesome.
There's not a blind eye around on those campuses.
Yep. Corey, the IT guy with their district, does a great job over there with all that. I've also working very closely with getting an MOU together with them to where our dispatchers actually can access those cameras in the event of an emergency. So that's just one step, puts us way ahead, and there's not, dare I say, any other district I'm aware of that works that closely with their police department and allows that kind of access for those types of situations. So huge steps ahead in that area. I am also instituting this year having an office in both the elementary and, the middle school, intermediate school, I guess they're calling it. I'm so confused sometimes with that. The middle school as well as the high school. Officers will have offices in each one. Throughout the day, my day shift officers will be able to go in and complete reports in those offices just to get a little bit more face time, a little more presence in those buildings. So I'm hoping that steps that up. That way they're able to talk with the kids who need help or anything like that. And obviously for safety reasons, have officers in there a little bit more often than we did before. So that's pretty much what I got. If you have any other questions, I guess.
Thank you for that report. I was going to ask you for it tonight.
I thought you might.
You're right. Coulter, another question. Are you doing training with student groups on how to react should we get one of these horrible situations in our school?
So we have been kind of pushing our way toward that. Since I've attended the ALICE program and became an instructor and started instituting this into the district, we've continuously every year kind of hit some struggles as far as, new administrators on our end, their end, new staff, and those sorts of things. So we tend to have to start over every year almost.
Almost an annual thing.
So. Yeah, it is almost an annual thing. So we try to do the same training with each, every year we get new staff. So I have to retrain them from there, and then we kind of start the baby step, crawl before we walk situation. I think this year, we have made a lot of conversation. We do have some new administrators out at the high school this year. Hoping to get them on board and get them pushing the program as well. If that's the case, then hopefully by the end of the year we would like to eventually work into drills with the kids.
Have you done any reaching out to any parent groups or trying to get parents on board to have them so they understand what the potential is here and they understand how maybe they could react most safely to help their children?
I'm not aware of any other parent groups other than I guess the booster clubs But no, we haven't reached out to them. Like I said, training up to this point has been with staff, support staff and regular staff. We haven't done a whole lot of student training. We have done a few different type of situations, drills with the staff members as far as thinking of ways to get out of the building and things of that sort.
So from your point of view, what is your basic assessment of the safety of our school systems in the event that we get caught up in one of these terrible situations?
I would say good, but I'm never going to give you an answer of great because we're constantly evolving and trying to make it better.
Good. Thank you very much. I appreciate you following through on that.
No problem. That's all I have. Unless anyone else has questions.
Thanks. Jared, IT.
Yeah. Evening, Mayor and Council. Actually, one of the bigger projects we completed this week, sort of successfully. Randy was a big help, or not this week, past week. We went out and installed cameras out at South Rec. So we replaced the existing ones that were there. Unfortunately, the wireless network that I was hoping to hook them up to, the trees are just a little too tall out there. So even about 10 feet above the poles on the bucket truck, I couldn't even see the tower. So there are some spots out there that we can see the tower that are kind of through the trees. So the next, and this was always my plan B, is to do a small wireless network out at South Rec with a single point of backhaul instead of backhauling every camera individually. So I just got all that equipment in this week, and I'm going to go out and do some testing and kind of see if I can get a different shot and off of a different pole. Most likely it'll be a pole near the baseball fields, and I might be able to get a shot out from there and then point all the cameras to that pole and then let that carry that out. And that's probably a little too in depth, but that's so that we got that done, got those up. Just working on the network to get those out. I've been doing quite a bit of equipment acquisition, kind of working on a couple different places. We're working on getting some of the fire hall stuff updated. We had a new employee up at Town of Rolling Hills, getting them set up. We've got these new offices for the PD at the schools. We've got docks and monitors and stuff like that. We're going to hopefully get those set up this week so that they're able to go in there and work on their reports and stuff like that. So yeah, just a lot of basic stuff.
Jared, a kind of off-the-wall question, not meaning to catch you flat-footed on this or anything, but I believe that there is a need for a computer down at the town square that doesn't have to be hauled all over the country. Is there any possibility that we can figure out some way to get a computer located in that concession stand that stays there?
Mandy has her Surface, which is portable, and allows her to do her work there. I mean, I wasn't aware of a need for something different right now. So yeah, we can always work on. I'm always happy to facilitate whatever's needed, but I wasn't aware that was an issue. So
well, check with her and see what's going on there, because I thought there might be a need that maybe we could make life a little easier, a little more convenient some way, a little less stuff to haul around.
Yep, we'll figure it out.
Thank you.
That's it for me.
Thanks, Jared. Is there anybody from the fire department here tonight?
I think he is.
Right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, or Mayor Pro Tem, I guess. We've been working for, gosh, seems like the last 2 years on replacing some rough wildland trucks. We got 2 of them in, and them 2 trucks that we took the firefighting bodies off of, they're just a chassis. Rural Fire's going to take them, and one of them's titled through the town. Then we have one more that's going away if we ever get the tanks for the other 2 trucks. It'll go away too. So I was going to see if we could get the titles for those so we can make the transfer to Rural Fire for the chassis that the town is licensed through the town now. And then the other one that we still have, get that title so when it comes we can advertise it for bid. And then also we ordered a new truck right after the first of the year. It was supposed to have been done September, October of this year. They've invoked their clause that due to supply chain issues they won't meet their 300-day build on it. So we don't know when that one's going to come, but as part of that one being ordered, we are also getting rid of the 2002 Freightliner that's also licensed to the town. So when that comes up, we'll send that truck out for bid. We took money from both the county and the town in our replacements. We'll get rid of 2 for 1. So won't hurt anything ISO wise. It may even actually make it better because we'll actually have more water on wheels for rural areas than what we have now. So, but just give you a heads up that if we could get the military ones now, the rural guys can get the 1 truck to work right away, and hopefully they don't need it, but if they do, it'd be nice to have it licensed and titled properly.
You got 2 surplus trucks, right? I thought from.
Yeah, we've actually got 4 of them, John. 2 of them are here now, and the other 2 are getting built as we speak. So we're just waiting on tanks. That's been about a year now. Something with people not wanting to work. So I hear Mr. McGinley talking about jobs. It's like, what's the trick to hire people? But no, hopefully those will be here before the end of the year. We just got the final drawings on the tanks about 2 weeks ago. So with any luck at all, their 1 guy they got working in their 10-man plant, he'll work a little overtime and get it done, get those 2 tanks done, and we'll have those trucks here directly.
So right now, without these military water trucks, are you in a tight spot? Or we get some bad grass fires in our neighborhood?
No, we've not lost anything right now. We're status quo. We've just replaced 2 1972s with, we moved up. We're in the 80s now. Now, the biggest reason for changing them, it wasn't a mechanical thing or anything like that. It was something about people not driving standard transmissions anymore. You have a lot of people that really struggle with the manual transmission, and the ones we're getting are automatic transmissions. So, make light of it, making a 10-year upgrade, but hey, that's pretty good. They even got real windshield wipers in them.
Wow.
No vacuum power there.
So we just need to get 2 titles transferred.
Yeah, and I got the numbers here. I don't know if
Jeff, if you just want to get a hold of me tomorrow, get me the
Okay, I'll probably have Sean because I'll be out working, but Sean will get it. It's plates are 1849 and 1863. It looks like registration wise. So
Okay.
okay.
You said 1 was going to go to rural and the other one's going to go out to.
Actually, both of those trucks, rural fire is taking them, but I think one of them we had them hauled up last Thursday, and they already got a body on it, and it's out at Hildebrand's off 93. And he comes to a lot of our fires, so I mean, it's good to have him with the truck that runs. His transfer case was out, and so it was kind of good timing that we had ours done. And parts on them older ones are starting to get a little tougher to come by, and worked out pretty good.
So are the rural areas around Glen Rock, are they in pretty good shape right now?
Yeah.
The far out areas, if we should get hit by something unpleasant?
Rural Fire has trucks scattered. I think I'm going to go out on a limb here and say about 80 trucks. Jim can correct me if I'm wrong there. There is a slew of them.
They're out there ready to go.
Yep. Well, yeah.
Full of water.
I'm not going to say that they haven't had pesticides or something run through them to spray or.
Water's water.
It'll spray water, and that's the big thing. And then we have we got the county provides water trucks and blades if we need them on a big fire. And Mike Gross with Wild West has always been great at giving us equipment, bringing stuff out and not charging, and being a good community member, and we have very good people around the area that help on that kind of stuff, so we can't complain. But that's all I got on that.
This is kind of, I think my thing just died. This is I just killed it. This is kind of off the wall, but do you know if the fire up at Friend Park is under control, or have you been contacted to help with that?
We talked about it today at the FSA meeting. It's all in Laramie or in Albany County. Sounds like it's about 690 acres roughly. But I think right now is what they're doing more than anything is letting it kind of burn and clean some of the the down timber and stuff up. I mean, it's under control. It isn't really growing. They're just doing kind of a rehab burn on it, if you will,
Thank you.
to kind of clean some of that up.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask Jared to come up and rescue my microphone? I just knocked it to pieces.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I got, unless you guys got anything else.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you
Sean
very
will be in touch with you tomorrow, Tammy.
Okay,
Thank you.
I think it'll go right back on.
I don't understand these things. Thank you, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Items from the floor.
I have some, good evening, Council. I have some big thank yous to say. Thank you, Councilman Nunn, for coming out and visiting with the governor. Her picture's on the front page. And her husband as well. It was really nice. Officer Felton, or Chief Felton came, and the sheriff came and met with the governor. And, of course, to watch Dana jump out of that plane just right there. It's amazing. But the city came out and dumped our garbages for us, and they came and sprayed for us, and I want to say thank you. We appreciate that. We fed 411 people on Saturday, and it was astronomical. It was memorial to Mike Mike Harrison, and that was the biggest crowd we've ever had. And it was fantastic. There was a few incidences, but, you know, we had good people out there calming everybody down. And so it worked out really well. And we just want to say thank you. And again, next year, please come out and partake. It was amazing. There's all kinds of people, you know, their fathers and grandfathers and mothers and grandmothers and aunts and sisters. It's just amazing. And by the way, that side-by-side that we got from your store looks like root beer, and it was beautiful. And the people that won it were just tickled as could be. So we just want to say thank you.
I never got my phone call.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. Did you get a phone?
Oh, you mean because you bought a ticket?
Yeah.
Well, I bought two, and I didn't get a thing either, but I sure had a good time.
Still waiting to hear.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the results.
Yeah, maybe next year, next year. But it was awesome, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Sharon.
Are you serious? You didn't blame Jeff?
Is there any other items from the floor? Mr. Willix.
I'll probably blow this out, so I'll try and move it away a little bit. Good evening, Council. Jim Willix, Commerce County Commissioner. Just had a couple of things I wanted to visit with you. The first one came up after I actually emailed Tammy about coming up to the agenda. Just something I think you'd be interested in. On Friday, Robert Short and I, along with Senator Boner and Senator Scott, Representative Sweeney and Representative Clausen, met with representatives of Rocky Mountain Power in Casper, talking about how we can figure out ways to keep Dave Johnson open beyond the dates that they are talking about. It was a productive meeting. We had 3 vice presidents there, so we got kind of up the food chain a bit. It's way more complicated than you would ever want it to be, with multiple public service commissions, multiple states, multiple regulations. But we've been in that dialogue for a couple of years. As you're well aware, the legislature passed a couple of laws trying to figure out ways to keep these coal-fired plants open. What we're focusing on is carbon capture as a way to do it. There are, I think, a couple of entities have come to the council, and others are. There's 2 or 3 potential users of the energy. Whether it's carbon capture, crypto mining, others, there's been a lot of discussion. You've got to get over the hump. But there are people out there who would like to figure out a way to keep it going. So we met with them for a couple of hours. Senator Scott's really leading, is going to try to do some legislation that maybe creates a win-win-win situation for a private entity, Rocky Mountain Power, in the state. And when I say the state, that collectively means Glen Rock and Commerce County and our communities, a way to keep it open. I'm not even giving you odds on what may happen, but we're trying. I can tell you that Senator Scott is chairman of Education Committee, and the money that could be generated, particularly if you think about carbon capture in the Big Muddy, is incredible. There's a B after the number if you think about how much could be generated there, either in taxes or in revenue. it also is a B involved in building something on Dave Johnson. So it's a lot of money. No promises other than we're going to stay engaged, but Senator Scott's going to hopefully have a bill to introduce in this legislative session that will try to create maybe some flexibility within the PSC that will allow carbon capture to be an economic thing that doesn't affect ratepayers negatively, because that's an issue, but lets Rocky Mountain Power and a private entity do it. So that's a very 10,000-foot view, but just wanted you to know we're working on it. We know how valuable, the plant is to this community and this side of the county and to the state, for baseline power. So just wanted to put that out there. When Jeff was up here, hey, our road and bridge has been working really hard with the rural fire guys, and whether it's the Glen Rock side or Douglas side, they show up with blades and water right away, and I know some companies have been helping too, so I do want to give them a shout out. We're building buildings for rural fire. They've had a multiple-year program where they've been building buildings so they can more often have water in the winter, because most of these guys are, they're just volunteer ranchers that leave the trucks out. We started building a few of these buildings that'll have a little bit of heat in them so they can keep winter. Particularly, it's been good in the Esterbrook community. I think there's going to be some here south of Glen Rock. There's some north. So we're stepping those up, and that's coming. So those are the two off-topic items I brought. And before I go into the next one, any questions on those two before I dive into what I really came up for? But I just thought I'd share that information with you.
Thank you.
So thanks. So I visited with a couple of you at the forum the other day, and visited with the mayor as well, and I know he wasn't going to be here tonight, but wanted to give you an update on the EWC project. So as you remember, we had the EWC grant that we collectively applied for. I sent notice out about a month ago that it got rejected. Here's what we've done, a couple of calls to try to get some feedback, and a couple of multiple things that we learned. They weren't waiting for the deadline to award money. They were awarding money as applications came in. So one of the things they said is, well, we were out of money by the time we got to yours. I find that a little annoying, but that's a ship that has sailed. The other thing is if we had essentially a $3.4 million project, which, if you recall, was adding the workspace shop on EWC, 2 classrooms, a couple bathrooms, an associated space that goes with an instructor space for it. And then we had collectively come up with $680,000 of match fund. So, and that was between Douglas County, EWC, the county, EWC, Douglas, and Glen Rock, and then the ground. And the other thing we feedback is it was a little bigger number than the EDC was comfortable with. A lot of their grants that they are giving are around $2 to $2.3 million. And when we were all said and done, we were asking for about 2.7, if you do the math from 3.4 and subtract that off. So that was one of the feedbacks. But they said they liked the project. They liked what it was doing. But we need to emphasize, if we go forward again, we need to emphasize a little bit more on Dave Johnson. We mentioned it, but I think we've got to focus on it a little bit more, which is the coal-impacted communities, if you will, and a little bit more clarity, if you will, on the job creation part. I mean, we know conceptually what we're trying to do, if you remember, is trades. It kind of bookends. McKinley, that's the very high-end skills. And then we also just need carpenters and plumbers and electricians to help build the building. And then, so we've got, it's fascinating today, kind of have the bookend of ideas that could be happening on skill level is, super high-tech and super just, blue-collar, hard-working people. So what I'm here today for is to plant the seed to have a discussion about increasing the match if we want to move forward. We had a conversation with Douglas, and Margaret was there for wearing the hat of EWC and a little bit of the Glen Rock Economic Development Group, but really more EDC. Visit with Paige with School District Number 1, and just started the conversation. To get to a number that would be closer to that 2.2, 2.3, it kind of looks like the easy math is if we could come up with double what we all committed with to begin with. So to go through what we started with, Commerce County put up $200,000. Eastern Wyoming College put $200,000. City of Douglas put $120,000. Town of Glen Rock put $80,000. And then we applied $80,000 of in-kind match for the land that was at the campus site. So when you add that all together, that was the 680. I should have wrote that down so I didn't have to add it up. But that was what we came up with. You can't double the land, particularly. It is what it is. At 80,000 is probably a fair representation. The next cycle of stuff, the deadline for applications is October 1st. But they continue to kind of tell us that they're going to continue to kind of look at applications as they come in. And we're getting some feedback from the grant manager in Denver. That's where our application goes. So what the conversation was with Douglas and the county last week, and what the conversation with you guys tonight, is to think about if you're at a point you could double that, or at least at the very minimum recommit to what was out there. We are having the grant writer draft the application so that what the decision is, we can actually be ready to get in maybe by the 1st of September. So what they ask for you today is, as a group, think about this, and by your next meeting, if at all possible, so in 2 weeks, decide what you would like to do there. If you can double or increase or recommit, whatever those may be, so we kind of have an idea to move forward. This funding would very minimally come out of the current fiscal year, but would most likely come out of the next fiscal year. Because if you do a time frame, you could assume that if we turn it in October, we might get an award in December, and then we'd have to do some architectural, you got to finish up the architectural stuff, so that may take you into April, May. You let a bid, you're probably not moving big money until July 1, which would be the next fiscal year. I can't tell you there won't be expenses in this fiscal year, but the majority of it will be the next fiscal year, just construction timeline takes that long. And if you recall, the last time there was a resolution, I think Tammy has it from the last time, that because you have to, as the grant matching entity, commit the money. You don't have to spend it, but you have to have a resolution that says we are going to commit that money. I guess that's kind of there may be questions and concerns, but I just would like you to think about it. I'm not asking you to or to not to, but we want to make a purposeful decision whether we want to move forward on this grant application, under what scenario. Can we get those kind of trades we need in our communities? I don't think anybody thinks we got too many of them right now. And as a recollection, I know McGinley talked about how they partner with Casper. Part of the reason that this has to be EWC for the building site is because of the state law, or the state Junior College Commission. Converse County is an EWC service area. And so you can't build a building from a different college in the service area, though, under the current rules. So that's why we're tied to EWC. I know Glen Rock is physically about the same between, it's probably farther to Casper College's campus than EWC and Douglas, but by about that much when you sit here. But I know that question came up last time, and a couple of members of the public might be wondering, why aren't we talking about Casper? Can't talk about Casper when we're talking about buildings. Yeah.
So Rolling Hills is not in this?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah.
Rolling Hills is not in this loop?
Not at the moment. No, I did not. We did not ask Rolling Hills last time, I'll be honest.
So what has been the reaction from the county, the college, and Douglas to doubling their commitment?
So we're all in the same boat. We're thinking about it. Nobody's made a commitment. That's where the timeline is such. We talked about it Wednesday morning is when we talked about it last week. Yeah, Wednesday we had a breakfast meeting with them, talked about it Wednesday. I mentioned that I was coming up here today to set it. We're all hoping to decide. Douglas will decide in 2 weeks, kind of on your schedule. They meet tonight as well. The county meets the next on the 16th, so a week from tomorrow, and that will kind of lay out what EWC's is a little different, and I just haven't got that. $200,000 for EWC is the leftover money from the 6 cent when we built the campus. Remember, you can get O&M money when you do the 6 cent, and there was some money there. So it is designated specifically for the Douglas campus, is already Converse County taxpayer money. It's not coming from EWC Torrington. It's coming from our pool. There is money in there to do. There's enough in there to double it. I just don't know if you should spend that down when it's for O&M for, a major renovation, or if this is a fully inappropriate thing. And that's a conversation to have with the Board of Trustees and they're meeting tomorrow in Torrington. And the commissioners kind of don't have say over it, but have input, if you will. But it's under that, and there's about, I think, $500,000 in that account.
So before we decide this at the next meeting, you will possibly have more information for us on where other...
Barely, because we're all kind of deciding on the same timeline. Unfortunately, and here's the thing, if we don't collectively agree that we're doubling and we have something different, we're probably going to have another conversation. Doubling's the simplest. That means we're moving forward. If we don't get to that, then I think we need to collectively have another conversation. I'm just trying to set the stage so we can be in there early enough to be ahead of the October 1, because we submitted the last application the 11th hour of the deadline.
Right.
Now if we can be a month ahead of time. Now, it is not a hard deadline in 2 weeks. I just think it's our most favorable deadline so that we're not
Better shot.
closer to October 1 when they've given away all the money. I've never heard of them giving away money when they have a deadline ahead of them.
First serve.
It kind of is. But they like the idea. They like the workforce training. It was just a little bit. And I don't think there's a lot of room to pare down the project, because if you're going to have a work area, you've got to have a classroom with it. You got to build bathrooms because of code. You've got to have, so there isn't a whole lot that can be trimmed. There may be some, and we might be able to find that in the architectural review. We've got, engineering estimates right now.
So can we go ahead with this project if some double and some don't? Does it have to be an all or nothing thing?
I think we could still apply. I think we reduce our chances. But yes, I think, Martin, we can apply with less. The feedback we've gotten is they would prefer us to be a lot closer to that 2.2 all in. That doesn't eliminate it by criteria. It reduces its chance, I'll say philosophically, from EDA out of Denver. And I'm learning about this on the fly like you guys are. But yeah, so yes, I think we could. I don't think our chances are as good, but that doesn't mean they're zero. And we thought we had a pretty good application going in. And I still think it is, and we're going to tighten up those couple of areas we need to tighten up. The one thing we did commit to already is about $5,000. The county can pick that up, or we can decide later to have them rework the application. Have it ready to go, and we can plug the numbers in. Rework the narrative about Dave Johnson and coal plants and workforce, and tighten up maybe the school district 1 and 2 coordination that we're going to do, because Coley and Page have both been really excited about this project. Margaret living here and then working at Torrington. I think there's a lot of good things that can happen there, but it's money. I'm not telling you it's not. But we haven't decided as a commission, I'll be honest. None of us have made a decision. We're just all saying, let's think about it and go from there. And I wish it was sequential, but it just isn't. And I could be available for other questions later, as you guys next week or whatever, as you see fit. But just wanted to plant the seed, and if at all possible to make a decision in 2 weeks, that would be great. Gives you time to stew on it.
Probably get a meeting together before the next council meeting and decide on.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
We'll talk. We'll get with you.
Okay. Yeah, I can be available.
We'll have something for you in 2 weeks.
Okay. That'll be great. That's, again, if a minimum, if it's a reconfirm, anything above that would be great. Any other questions, commission-wise or this-wise? I'd be glad, since I'm here, if there's anything else you have. I had not been to the town square until the forum a couple weeks ago. Beautiful, beautiful addition to the community, so it was really nice. It was a little warm, but other than that, it was pretty nice. And Mandy was not, but it was actually a Chamber of Commerce night, all things considered. The wind wasn't howling, it didn't rain, but so appreciate that. Don't hesitate to reach out if you get any other questions. Thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim. Do you have any other items on the floor?
Hello. Good evening. So I have been talking to Tammy a little bit, and I am getting married on August 27th. We are wanting to utilize South Rec, and we are wanting to particularly use the softball fields. We have applied for an open container. She wanted me to come here tonight and see if you guys have any kind of questions, anything like that. I think mainly just how we are wanting to keep it contained, things like that. Making sure, it's just going to stay on the softball field. We're not going to have anyone wandering around, anything like that. I did send her kind of an idea and a picture on, what we are planning on doing, and our ideas for everything. My fiance is not here tonight because he is playing softball, avid softball player. We have tournaments every weekend until the wedding. Every night this week he's playing softball. So I would make him be here, but he won't.
I think that's on our.
Won't give up softball.
We have you on the agenda.
Yeah, it's on our
Perfect.
agenda.
Yeah, so you're.
I didn't know if I needed to come up or if I'm like, so earlier talking later.
Generally, when we
or
make the motion to approve the permit, then come up and kind of explain to us.
perfect. I was like, I don't know.
It's okay.
You're good.
I think one of my biggest questions is how are you going to make sure that there's no minors out there drinking?
Yeah. So I'm not a big drinker, and I admit my fiance kind of likes to drink, but I think one of the biggest things that I would make sure for no minors drinking is I don't really want to drink maybe when we are toasting, or I'll have like a couple drinks. I guess knowing who is of age or who isn't of age for me would be hard, I guess, unless I'm IDing everyone. But it's mainly family and friends. So I will know, who is of age and who isn't of age because they are our family and our friends. So I guess that helps.
It's just open container. It's
and
not.
Then, yeah, it's not going to be, anyone there that's, supplying the alcohol because it is just an open container. We're not going to have, paying someone to supply the alcohol for us.
Okay.
One comment I would like to make to you is when I heard about this, I spoke with some of the local softball people, and I said, what are your feelings on this? And they said, these are softball people getting married out there. They'll understand how to take care of a facility like this.
Oh, yeah. Especially him. And he grew up here. So,
I thought that was a real compliment to you.
Yeah. Thank you. And they're all softball players, too. And we're all wearing softball jerseys, so, typical softball themed. So we'll definitely want to take care of the fields.
Okay.
So when we get to that item on the agenda, if anybody has any questions, we'll have you come up. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any more items on the floor? If not, we'll move on to new business. First part of new business is liquor license renewals. I need a motion to approve liquor license renewals.
I move we approve the liquor license renewals.
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Second item is a proclamation honoring hunger action. Find it here. There it is. Honoring Hunger Action Month, whereas addressing the food insecurity needs of children, youth, men, seniors, active military, and veterans today is fundamental for the future of Glen Rock. And whereas hunger and poverty are issues of vital concern in Commerce County, where 11.6% of people struggle with hunger, and 1 in every 6 children do not know where their next meal will come from, and whereas the need for comprehensive, coordinated emergency food programs place upon our community a critical responsibility, and whereas the Food Bank of Wyoming is committed to combating hunger in every part of our community and providing additional resources that those in Glen Rock need, and whereas it is our responsibility as citizens of Glen Rock to learn about hunger and do our part in reducing that hunger, and whereas 160 partners with Food Bank of Wyoming, a member of Feeding America nationwide network of food banks, and their local partner Glen Rock Area Food Pantry, to educate people about the important role of hunger relief organizations, raising awareness for the need to devote more resources and attention to hunger and food insecurity issues, and whereas more than 1,610 residents of Commerce County rely annually on food provided by the Food Bank of Wyoming and their local partners, and whereas the Food Bank of Wyoming, its generous funders, volunteers, and local partners agencies are committed to educating citizens on the role of food banks and hunger relief efforts in resolving hunger, and whereas the Food Bank of Wyoming provides over 9 million meals across Wyoming annually, and to engage in each of us to help end hunger 1 meal at a time, either through donations, social media shares, or volunteer shifts, and whereas the month of September is designated Hunger Action Month in order to bring attention to food insecurity in our communities. Now, therefore, not me, but Mayor Ramel of the town of Glen Rock do hereby proclaim September 22 as Hunger Action Month and encourage all citizens to increase their understanding and awareness of food security and how it impacts our nation, state, community, county, and communities. Given under my hand the seal of town of Glen Rock, Wyoming, to be affixed this 12th day of September 2023. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve the proclamation honoring hunger action. This month is October.
Second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, is there any way that someone from the food bank could come down and perhaps make a presentation to us of possible areas where people in the community could serve the food bank, specific things they could do to serve it?
They usually come down a few times a year and talk to us.
Melissa's been in, yeah.
And then maybe we could have them come in one of our next couple of meetings, say, here's the areas where we really need help and assistance, and we get people from the
I
community.
do know that there are supply chain issues, so they are go to different vendors, and it's costing them a lot more
money
to do what they do. But they do a great job, and they hand out a lot of meals.
This is scary. 1 out of 6 children do not know where their next meal will come from right here in Glen Rock. Yikes.
Yep. Any more discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, say
We
aye.
made a motion.
Huh?
You made a motion?
No, he made a second.
You
Moved and
did?
seconded, yeah.
Sorry.
He motioned.
All right. Okay, no more discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Next item is Glen Rock Housing Authority Board appointment for Sherry Lehner. Can I get a motion to approve the board appointment?
I move we approve this appointment.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Sherry? Anything to say? No?
Yikes.
Okay. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Congratulations. Open container bit permit for Danny, I'm going to screw this up, Boise?
Boise.
Is there a motion?
I move we approve the open container permit for the Danny Boise wedding.
And I'll second.
Any discussion?
Does this include the catering permit? Are both of those under one?
I think it's just an open container.
They're
It's
not
just for open
selling.
Catering.
That's next.
All right, being there's no discussion, call for a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 All those opposed, say nay. All right, good luck with that. Now the catering permit for Double D Liquors. I cannot find it here. There it is. Is there a motion to approve a catering permit for Double D Liquors?
I move we approve the catering permit for Double D Liquors.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there somebody here to speak on behalf of Double?
Okay.
Would you like to come on up and tell us what's going on?
We're just doing a wedding reception
Okay.
out at South Rec.
They're going to use the concession stand, I think, too, as
Yes,
well.
we are.
So I think they're going to be set up over there at the
Yep.
concession stand. And
Okay.
then, they're going to set up a little area. I know they'll have a DJ. That's what I've been told for this wedding.
Have you struck a deal with Randy to get the garbage hauled off for you?
No, but I'll see Corey tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, we booked it on the calendar. We booked it on the calendar for them.
Okay. Anybody got any other questions? None, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, moving on to the lease agreement with the Boys and Girls Club. Do we want to,
I think we move to amend.
do we want to
We
just
need a
make-
motion to swap the new one out for the one that's in your packet.
I move that we pass this lease agreement as amended by the one that Tammy just gave us this evening. Everything else being the same.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion? Yes, please.
Thank you, Council. I just wanted to, just for clarification on some points, I know that this has kind of gone back and forth, negotiation with the clubs. First of all, I should start off and say thank you for all that you've done to make this project happen. And we are moving in now, but we're trying to get this lease finished so I can insure the building and move utilities. This was a different kind of lease, and so we did have our attorney look at this and make some changes, and we did request the 25 years, and that's just so that we can plan on what we're going to be doing over the next 25 years, and rent doesn't change, and we don't have to find a new home. So I think that was really the only thing the attorney had come back with questioning, and I think we kind of worked through that. The only other part that's gone back and forth and why there was the change in that is that it had for the maintenance of the building, the maintenance of the premises, it really has the Boys and Girls Club being responsible on the sidewalks and other areas to do snow removal and watering and lawn maintenance. And we just do not have staff or equipment or even a place to store it to be able to do that. And if just thinking of it being, the sidewalks on the sides of the building, that's used by the public coming and going from the streets. I know that.
And we plow that path anyway, so just get to Town Square to get that side.
And I don't know what the language that got changed in this last version is that we had I talked to Bruce and talked to Randy, and we would push the snow away from our door into the circle, and then the town would pull it away from there. So I just wanted to make sure that when we're all gone in a few years, that it's not someone coming back saying, well, the sidewalks are in the lease, so you need to be doing that, or the watering should be part of your meter, or that the weed control, or any of those. I just want to make sure that we have that straight in whatever version that's being approved.
Looks like the changes are there.
Yes. I don't have that copy, so I just have.
Go to Jared, if you can go to page 3. Right, go back up just a little bit. So right there it says, it's about this, well, starting at the second line down, lessee at its expense.
Sentence, yeah.
Now, that should be changed to
lessor.
And that is in the version that I reprinted and handed out. So that, as well as the next sentence that says that the lessor at its expense shall be obligated to fully remove all snow and ice accumulation upon the sidewalks in and about the premises, except for the entrance sidewalk.
Okay.
Yeah,
and that sidewalk is the one that they will handle and push out.
Right.
Yeah. And I spoke with Bruce before the meeting, and he clarified that is what he agreed to.
Okay.
Did anyone else have any other questions about anything that we had asked for?
I just have a quick question I'd like to ask to the attorney, if I may, please. Can we as a council legally bind future councils to this 25-year lease?
I believe so. I believe that it is binding on future councils. There is some concern that a 25-year lease wouldn't be binding in general, just given the length of time, but I believe it is a sufficient contract under the law.
We do have a 100-year lease with the city of Casper, and so we use some of that language. And council had provided also some case cases that we use some language and added in here as well. But we do have the same longer lease in Casper for that facility.
Lucked out otherwise.
Anyone else have any questions about? We're getting moved in. We invite you to come look at it.
We're really excited. We've done couple tours through there, but we're really excited to see you guys open the doors.
We have a ribbon cutting on August 18th at 6 p.m. We invite the community to come in, see the new club. We did hook up fiber to the building, so we're one of the commercial buildings in town that's going to have fiber connections. So, and the storage in that building is. The Casper facility doesn't have that much storage, so they're extremely jealous about what we have here in Glen Rock.
When are you going to turn the children loose in the building?
That will be the first day of school.
First day of school?
First day of school.
Which is what?
The 22nd.
August 22nd?
We don't have kids in school anymore, so I think we're there every day. 22nd. 22nd.
Anybody else have any questions? No? If not, I call for a vote for the approval of the amended lease agreement with the Boys and Girls Club.
I move we approve the amended lease agreement.
Vote.
Oh, we already did.
Vote.
Sorry.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Sorry. All those opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
We were happy to help with that.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, moving on. Resolution 2022-14, which is a grant, WBC grant application. Let me find it here. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay.
You got to go way past that lease.
All right, here we go. For the purpose of building a new facility, including permanent equipment, and entering into a lease agreement with McGinley Orthopedic Innovations, LLC, MOI, whereas the governing body of Town of Glen Rock desires to participate in the Business Ready Community Grant and Loan Program to assist in financing this project, and whereas the governing body of the Town of Glen Rock recognizes the need for retaining and creating high-paying, entry-level, and skilled jobs in the town, and the diversification of existing industry, and creating economic opportunities for the community, and believes the project will address those needs, and whereas the public benefits of this project will increase sales tax on the purchases of equipment and supplies by the company that would otherwise be leaving the state, the retention of business in Glen Rock, and increased employment, and whereas the specific goals and measures of success of this project are retain 8 full-time employees, recently hired 2 full-time employees currently training on equipment, hiring 5 full-time employees for sales and manufacturing, and a minimum of $8 million will be retained in Wyoming the next 5 years of operation in Glen Rock, and whereas the Business Ready Community Grant and Loan Program requires that certain criteria be met as described in the Wyoming Business Council rules governing the program, and to the best of our knowledge, this application meets those criteria. And whereas the governing body of the Town of Glen Rock plans to provide cash match to this Business Ready Community Grant and Loan Program, business committed project from the following sources: $350,000 from the recapture from previous grant. Whereas the governing body of the Town of Glen Rock has addressed the comprehensive operation and maintenance plan and the development agreement with MOI, stating that all necessary and appropriate maintenance and repair of the premises will be provided by MOI, such that on expiration of the lease, the premises will be returned in as good a condition as received, ordinary wear and tear accepted, and whereas the governing body of the Town of Glen Rock will use the revenue recapture from this project for the following economic development purposes: 1/2 to develop infrastructure improvements for workforce housing, 1/2 to be used for improvements in the Glen Rock Business Park to promote further economic development. Whereas in the event of any project cost overruns, MOI will provide funding in the amount necessary to complete the project, and whereas the governing body of the Town of Glen Rock has considered other possible funding solutions for this project, which include the Economic Development Administration, and whereas the Town of Glen Rock is working in partnership with McGinley Orthopedic Innovations, LLC, And whereas the town of Glen Rock held a public hearing on August 8th, 2022 to solicit testimony from citizens and gave full consideration to all comments received. And whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock will follow state procurement standards inclusive to Wyoming Statute 16-6-101 ETSEQ. And whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock acknowledges that Wyoming Preference Act, Wyoming Statute 16-6-201 through 16-6-206 will be adhered to throughout the project. Now therefore be it resolved by the governing body of the town of Glen Rock that a grant application in the amount of $3,500,000 be submitted to the Wyoming Business Council for consideration of assistance in funding the purchase of land, new construction, and permanent equipment, and entering into a lease agreement with McGinley Orthopedics Innovations LLC. And be it further resolved, Mayor Ramel is hereby designated as the authorized representative to act on behalf of the governing body of all matters relating to this grant application. Is there a motion?
I move that we move forward with the WBC grant application.
Approve the resolution.
Pardon me?
I think we need to approve the resolution.
Oh, approve the resolution. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
I move that we approve the resolution for $3,500,000.
I think you have to state the number, 2022-14.
Okay. Resolution 2022-14.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I think this is a fantastic program. I have one question concerning this statement in here where it says, whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock will use the reserve recapture from this project for the following economic development purposes. 1/2 to develop infrastructure improvements for workforce housing, 1/2 to be used for improvement in the Glen Rock Business Park to promote further economic development. Upon talking with the engineers who developed our sewer plant out there, they told me that our sewer lagoon was at 75% capacity right now. If we want to add housing and further economic development into our community, it looks like we need to possibly, as a town, be considering trying to get a grant to put in a second sewer lagoon so we had the capacity to handle anything that was coming at us in the next 10 years. And we've done a lot with our water, but having water is not going to do us any good if we don't have sewer, as far as developing our town goes.
Can I say something? After our conversation, I actually talked with CEPI, and he actually said he would not recommend that right now.
Why not?
He said that our actual regular capacity is only 30%.
Then why
There's
you
a
tell me
day of,
75?
he said there's one day of the year, on our worst day of the year, Thanksgiving, when everybody that's ever lived in Glen Rock comes back to Glen Rock to visit. That puts us at 75%. But normal functioning
What's
is
the deal here? It's 75, it's 35? What are we going to believe?
30. He told me 30.
Is that the average?
30 is average.
So we have sufficient sewer capacity for the next 30 years. If we want to add a lot of businesses, we've got the water, we've got the sewer, we've got the land, all we need is businesses.
We have 2 other ponds out there that's not being used right now either.
So I wanted to make sure, I was going to talk to you about this later, but he did mention that if we were to present him with that question, that could we go for a grant, he would not recommend it at this time.
Right now, we're covered, we're okay.
Yeah.
Okay, put it in the minutes.
Yes.
We are okay on sewer for the future.
Yeah.
Record it, please.
Okay.
Any other discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 2022-14, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Passes.
We're in business.
We're in business. Resolution 2022-15, approving ARPA application for 9th and Killer project. Resolution authorizing submission of an application to the State Loan and Investment Board for a grant through the Water and Sewer ARPA grant program, funding on behalf of the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming, for the purpose of Keller and 9th Street Infrastructure Improvements Project, and replace aging and degraded water and sanitary sewer infrastructure, create system loops in the water system, and improve flows and availability of water in the entire downstream system. Whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming desires to participate in the Water and Sewer ARPA grant program to assist in its financing of this project. And whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming recognizes the need for the project, and whereas the Water and Sewer ARPA grant program requires that certain criteria be met as described in the State Loan and Investment Board's rules and regulations governing the program, and to the best of our knowledge, this application meets those criteria. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming, that grant application in the amount of $736,250 be submitted to the State Loan Investment for consideration at the State Loan Investment Board meeting to assist in the funding of the Keller and 9th Street Infrastructure Improvement Project, be it further resolved that Randy Rempler, Public Works Director, is hereby designated as authorized representative of the town of Glen Rock to act on behalf of the governing body in all matters relating to this grant application. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I move we approve Resolution 2022-15.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Randy, what happened to doing First Street or whatever? We not doing that, or are we still waiting? Or?
No, that's the one we did last week.
Oh, okay.
When are they going to get started down here on Fetterman and all that?
As soon as they're done with the senior center paving.
Okay.
Talking about the overlay.
Yes. Okay.
Randy, what is a system loops in the water system?
Right now, we have a dead end line there on the main, and we need to loop it to keep the water from being stagnant at the end. And plus, we'll also be going after water development money for this because it's a 12-inch water line, which they consider as a transmission line.
Do we have any other of those other dead-end loops around?
Last one.
That's the last one?
Oh, how much? What's the estimate to do this project?
1.2.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed by nay. All right, moving on. Resolution 2022-16. I can see why he skipped this meeting. God. A resolution approving the Office of the State Lands and Investment Water and Sewer ARPA Grant Program certification statement, whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming hereby certifies that funding being applied for the under the Water and Sewer ARPA Grant Program will be used in accordance with all requirements and conditions of the ARPA 2022 Wyoming Session Laws Channel 50?
Chapter 50.
Chapter 50, thank you. And this chapter, if it is determined that the funds were not used as intended, the recipient shall refund dispersed funds to the office within 15 business days following the notification. Furthermore, it is certified that I have read the information on evidence based on interventions and project demographic distributions. If this project has either I have included the requirements and the dollar amount of the total project spending that is allocated towards evidence-based interventions and or project demographic distribution in the verbiage of the project description. Be it further resolved that Randy Rempler, Public Works Director, is hereby designated as the authorized representative of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming, to act on behalf of the governing body in all matters relating to this grant application. Is there a motion?
I move we approve Resolution 2022-16.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion?
Did we have a study done on our present line?
Which project? Oh, yeah.
Did we ever receive what that study said?
Which line are you talking about?
The main supply line.
No, this is still on the Keller. This
This
is
is on.
certification deal.
Oh, this is just okay. This is back to Keller line. Okay, sorry.
It's one of those ARPA deals. You have to do both resolutions.
And then you got to certify to get the
Yeah.
money back if we don't use it.
Yeah.
Is there any further discussion? Not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 2022-16, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. 2 left. Resolution 2022-17.
You're almost done.
Oh, my God. Somebody else. All right. A resolution authorizing submission of an application to the State Loan Investment Board for a grant through the Water and Sewer ARPA grant program, funding on behalf of the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming, for the purpose of constructing a new PVC transmission line from the town of Glen Rock to our drinking water wells that will replace our 40-plus-year-old ductile iron transmission main. Whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming desires to participate in the Water and Sewer ARPA grant program to assist in financing this project, and whereas the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming recognizes the need for the project, and whereas the Water and Sewer ARPA grant program requires that certain criteria be met as described in the State Loan Investment Board's rules and regulations governing the program, and to the best of our knowledge, this application meets those criteria, and now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the town of Glen Rock, Wyoming, that a grant application in the amount of $1 million to be submitted to the State Loan and Investment for consideration at the State Loan and Investment Board meeting to assist in funding the main transmission line project. Be it further resolved that Randy Ramper, Public Works Director, is hereby designated as the authorized representative of the town of Glen Rock to act on behalf of the governing body on all matters relating to this grant application. Is there a motion?
I'll move that we approve Resolution 2022-17.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion?
Now can I ask my question?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Please ask
We
questions.
finally found, Ray Cavalier and myself finally found a company that can come do our sampling of the water line.
It hasn't been done yet.
It has not been done yet. We've been trying to find somebody that can come do it. And, of course, the companies we've involved to try to get to do it are too busy. But we found one that's going to come do it.
When?
I don't know. I have not got the date yet.
And what do you mean by sampling?
They come in, expose the line, bore a hole through it, take the cork out and see what the line condition is.
Okay.
And of course, then you have to put a tap saddle on that with a cork. Shut it so now you got a hole in the line.
So we will know how good or bad
Right.
our existing line. So there may be parts of it that may be okay, and there may be parts of it that may be a pending disaster.
And this is planned
This is
as
a
a
really-
redundant line to run next to the other one. So if a section breaks, we can switch over to the new line.
This is a good thing to have.
Yeah, because if we lose this line, we have no water.
Right.
No water, no town. Ask the golf course.
So if we get this redundant line and the main one breaks, are we going to repair it or just move over?
Probably not. Depends on how bad the break is.
Yeah. So we could abandon it at some point in time?
What's that?
So we could abandon it at some point in time?
Yeah. And this will be all new PVC that'll be put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are soils that are pretty hot out there that will eat the corrode the line. So
Again, buried.
Yeah.
All that kind of good stuff.
All right. No further discussion. I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving Resolution 2022-17, please say aye.
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 All those opposed?
You don't have to read this
I don't
one.
think you have to
What's
read
that?
this. It's
You don't have to
exactly
read
Same
this.
one.
It's exactly the same as the.
God, I don't have to read it.
You just have to have
It's
one
just
for
the
each.
certification.
Yeah, certification.
All right. All right. Can I get a motion to approve Resolution 2022-18?
I move we approve Resolution 2022-18.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, bills and claims. Is there a motion to pay the bills and claims?
I move we pay our bills and claims.
Yeah, I second that.
All right. Any discussion?
Just one question. Kelly's not here, and she's probably the only one that can answer it. This cleaning service, what all are they cleaning? Just the town hall, downtown square, the Commerce building?
It's a whole, it's a package.
It's all town. It's all town property. How often do they come in?
They come in once every weekend for a full cleaning, and then they come in midweek on Wednesdays to do a walkthrough, check supplies.
That's for all the buildings.
All the buildings, yeah. They've actually done a really good job.
They do like a hard clean on the weekends.
Yeah.
Definitely needed.
Any questions? All right, no further discussion. All those in favor of paying our bills and claims, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Can I get a motion for adjournment?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, thank you.
No, thank you.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
You like that.
Did I what? Good to see you.
No, they open. That's one thing I promise you. That's all that is expensive. First find out. Surf
Put in there, process.